How you doing, class? Dr. Petty here, and I'm just going to make this video to kind of help you get through this Excel assignment from the first module. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop right into this and start working on some of this. So in case many of you are aware, Excel is what we call spreadsheet software. Now, spreadsheet software can come in many shapes or forms, and there's various versions that you can find. You know, there are OpenOffice.org, for example, is just one of them. And there are several projects where you can get Office and kind of download it, but we always call it spreadsheet software. And this whole thing is called a workbook, and this is called a worksheet. Each one of these is called a worksheet. Okay, so we're in this workbook, and we're on this worksheet here. Now, I downloaded this from Sam, of course, and I went to this page here, and I'm just going to go right into this assignment. So the very first step in any of these assignments, the first thing you want to do is you want to rename the assignment, right? So I'm going to save as, I'll go over here into, I'll just browse real quick. I'm going to save this to my desktop, actually. So I'm going to go over here to my desktop. And the reason for this is I need to change this little one right here. Now, don't worry if you don't see this extension. On my computer, I have it so I can see extensions. If you don't see this XLSX, don't worry about that. The thing that you need to focus on is changing this 1 to a 2. And then we're going to go ahead and save that. Okay, very good. So, next thing, let's just hop right into the steps. We got 11 of them here, so let's just get to it. All right, so Jordan LeMay is an associate consultant for Ferrante & Dahl, a global company that helps businesses succeed. She handles accounts in the Northeast region of the United States and has created a worksheet to help her keep in touch with each client. She asks for your help in completing the worksheet. Go to the current accounts worksheet, which is right here. Cut the worksheet subtitle from cell E2 and paste it into cell A2. Okay, so the subtitle is going to be this right here. So this is going to be our main title, and you can see right now it's over here in E2. We want to move this. So if I were to just single click over this, and I'm going to Control X, I'm going to come over here into A2, which is right over here, and I'm just going to do Control V. Now that's just copy and paste, right? So I could have done that by right-clicking it and clicking cut and then paste over here. It really doesn't matter, just as long as you get it over here. Okay, so step number 2, copy Jordan's name in cell J2 and paste it in cell J11. So if I look at Jordan's name, right here, so here it is in J2, and we're going to paste it. So I'm going to copy Jordan's name. So I'm going to copy it. They want us to copy it this time. And then they want us to paste it in cell J11, which is going to be right down here. So I'm going to just copy and I'm going to paste. You know, I can actually also do Control V here as well. And then they want us to go ahead and clear the contents of this cell right here. So I'm going to clear the contents. Now, you can, if there's something in here, if I right-click this, there's a clear contents option. So if you were click there and there's a value in the cell, you can clear contents in Excel, which would remove everything, including formulas, formatting, everything. Or not formatting, but formulas and any text that you may have. Okay, so step number 4 says change the font size of the range A3 through J3 to 12 point, and then bold the contents. Use AutoFit to resize columns G and J to their best fit. So if I change the font of the range A3 through J3, now a range is any selection of cells, like so. Now you see there's no cell borders here in this white area. Don't worry about that. There's a feature where you can turn that off if you ever get kind of confused of what it is you're looking for. So you can turn on grid lines. You can also turn them off. This is a formatting that they put on here. Okay, so but what we need to do is select this range. I'm going to go back to the Home tab. And from the Home tab, we're going to select A3 through J3. So A3, you can see here's A3, right? And then we're going to select through J3, like this. Now, I'm going to use that shift left-click method that I taught you in class. That is where I left-click here, I hold down the shift key, and I left-click here again, and I release the shift key. This makes it a lot easier to select ranges in here. As you can see, I can do this all over the place all day long. Perfect. So let's go ahead and do this step real quick. Change the font size of the range to 12 point. So we do that. I'm just going to bump this up right over here. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to bold the contents. So I'm going to go ahead and bold it right here. Now you can also press Control B as a shortcut to bold those contents. All right, so now we need to auto fit this. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to Format, and I'm going to auto fit column width. And as you can see, what happens when I do that is it takes out the unnecessary space and also sets this up to so that it all fits in the right. So all of my headings here should be exposed here, if you can see them all here. Okay, so auto fit to resize columns G and J. Oh, looks like I made a mistake. So you know what? I'm going to just Control Z because sometimes that happens. All right, so auto fit columns G and J to their best fit. So I'm going to select both of these columns. And I'm going to come back over here to G and J. So I have this selected. I'm going to go back to Format and then click Auto Fit Width, Auto Fit Column Width. There it goes. That's what we were looking for. So notice that I selected those two columns. Now, by the way, if you want to select two non-adjacent ranges, which you're going to have to do that step later, the way you do that is you left click whatever you want to select first. So in this case, if I select the column header, which is the G here, and I hold down the Control key, wherever I select next is going to select in addition to what I've already selected. But you can see like the stuff in the middle is not selected. This is going to be pretty important when you get to doing pie charts. And for those of you without a mouse, you're going to really struggle with this one because you'll need to use your trackpad in order to make the non-adjacent ranges selected. I would strongly recommend going and buying a cheap wireless mouse just to do these projects. Okay, so we did that. Let's move on to step number 5. So I'm following the instructions that are provided by Cengage, by the way, so you can follow along with me. Apply the text number format to the range A4 through A9. So A4 through A9, I'm going to select this, and we're going to apply the text number format. Okay, so if you come over here to this up here, this is our formatting, right? So we have formatting that we have up here, and if you look here, there's several different options. I mean, we have accounting, currency, long date, percentage. They're fairly straightforward, but if you need to format a range, it makes it really, really easy to do. So all you got to do is click OK, and you can notice that it moved this over to the left, and it's going to treat all of these as text and not numbers. That's important to understand, especially when you're sorting this stuff. Okay, so in step number 6, in cell E5, use networking conference as the complete entry for the cell. So we're going to go to E5, and I'm just going to click in here and finish typing out conference, just like so. Okay, so I put it in conference. Make sure you match the casing, so if it was lowercase, I want to do that as well. Okay, good. That's done for step number 7. Step number 8, fill the range H5 through H9 with the formula in cell H4. Okay, so let's go to cell H4 because we want to fill this formula. Oh, my mistake. I missed a step. So let me go back up to step number 7. Ferrante and Dahl has a company policy to contact their clients once every 2 weeks. In cell H4, create a formula without a function that adds 14 days to the date the client was last contacted, cell G4. So let's go to G4 here. So this is the last date they were contacted, and now we need to do a manual formula here without a function. So I know that you can use a sum function and there's other things for this, but anytime that you want to start a manual formula, you're going to start with an equal sign. Always. All formulas are always going to start with an equal sign regardless. So what we want to do is, well, our formula is based on this cell right here. So I'm just going to select it. And when I do, you'll see that G4 actually just populates right there for me. It's kind of light blue, maybe a little difficult to see. But now I'm actually going to type the addition operand, just like this. And I'm going to do 14 because we're going to take whatever the value is of the date and we're going to add 14 to it, which, by the way, if this is formatted as a date, Excel recognizes that's a date. So when you add numbers to a date, it maintains days of the month. So it will progress through the months as necessary. Now, if I go ahead and just hit enter. Now, one thing I want to show you before I hit enter is up here. This is called your formula bar. This bar shows you the contents of a cell, whether or not it's an integer or a number, but it also shows you if it's a formula. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter here. And notice, even though that this says 3/4/2021, up here it says equals G4 plus 14. So if you're unsure if you have a formula in a cell somewhere, just simply click in it, one left click in it, and then if you see something other than what the actual value is, that means that there's some type of a formula here. So now we want to recreate this formula all the way down through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this range through H4 all the way down through H5 through H9. Now, if you lost how I did that, if you look in the right-hand bottom corner of this screen, this is something called a fill handle. And this tool is very, very useful because it allows me to take whatever formula or function that's in here, and if I copy this by left click and holding it and dragging it down, once I release that, you'll see that it will duplicate that on each value. Now, it didn't copy the values, it only copied the formula, and I know that because as I click through this, I could see that each one has been updated, as you can see here. All right, so now we just need to go on to step number 9. So step number 8 was to fill the range. We just did that. So let's move on to number 9. Number 9 says in cell J6, so let's go there first, cell J6. It says enter 34675 as the contract amount. Perfect. So it looks like they already had this formatted. We did that. So we have the contract amount for Claricom in here, so that's fine. Okay, that's good. Okay, now what we need to do for step number 10 is it says in cell J10, which is right here, it says enter a formula that uses the sum function to sum the contract amounts, the range J4 through J9. Now, there's a couple ways I could do this. I could come over here to the auto sum tool. If I were to click this, it's automatically going to detect that the numerical range is above here, and all I'd have to do is really just press enter at that point, and then you can see it adds it. But what if it were more sloppy than that? You know, like what if this were going to be more complex? You can also manually do it. Again, if I'm going to start the formula, I'm going to start with an equal sign, but this time I'm going to select sum. Now notice that when I start to type sum, this little sub menu appears and it says, well, hey, I can add this sum integer here. So if I double click this, it actually will set up the equation for me. Now if I left click here and then left click here, shift, hold, and left click here, you'll see that it copies that range over for me. And if I close this with a parenthesis, same entry, same formula, just a different way to do it. So either way you want to do it, it's fine. Okay, so this workbook is essentially complete, and that was it for this project. So if you have any questions, just let me know in class, and take care.